Hey guys, it's KOOL. How y'all going? What'd you reckon about the 60 Minutes interview about Miss Brittany, Kfed and the kids? Well, I thought it was quite fair. It showed both sides, and I'm sure they would have asked Brittany to talk, but she didn't. They showed the piece of her saying, how could my family have done this to me, and all of that. I thought it was really fair, and it didn't show anyone in a bad light. But of course, the yes queens and the Brittanon people, they really are like QAnon. They're just demented, and they've got blinkers on, and they can't see anything as a whole picture. They see everything as an individual statement, individual everything. The first thing that got me in the comments were, why? This is hilarious. Why do they say that he's in a middle-class house?
A picture of domesticity in what seems like a very normal middle-class home in Los Angeles.
I'm going to tell you guys that answer quite easily, because in Australia, that is a middle-class house. That's not a rich person's house. Maybe we have a lot more land, space. I don't know what it is, but I wasn't shocked when he said that because, yeah, that's a middle-class house. And most middle-class houses in Australia have pools, unless they're down south where it's really cold. I'm from Queensland where it's pretty warm, and there's houses everywhere that look like that. And then there's mansions. So I didn't think that was a big call, but in America, obviously it's not. So just remember, guys, when people say stuff, they're not trying to, be a part of the team con. You just got to take things into perspective and not be so quick. That's the first bit that I was quite surprised that people were just losing their minds about. And then it was pretty funny, I thought, how Carl, the reporter, called him a love rat.
There were complications, though. Kevin was a love rat who already had a fiancé, a son, Caleb, and another child on the way.
But yeah, he was a love rat. And that's good. They didn't just shine the light on Kevin going, the greatest father of all time. They showed that he was a dirty old love rat and just had baby mamas all over the world. Nick Cannon doesn't. No one seems to give a shit. He's on his 10th kid. Give me a break. So anyway, I thought the interview went along quite well. They left a lot out of what the son's son, what Jaden said. But the day before, I put 4 clips up of Jaden talking. And I think they took those clips out of the doco because, I don't know, for some reason. But they're up on YouTube and they're up on my channel. And he speaks very confidently and wise. They're gorgeous boys. They're very handsome, well-rounded kids. Isn't that a reflection on Kevin? Or is it, nah, that's just them. And that's because Brittany's their mum. I mean, the Brittany fans, I've just realised after this documentary, are actually pretty unhinged. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them, but most of them. Because the comments that they say, like, well, that's not a middle-class house. It's like, guys, you're just, nitpicking. In all, that interview was pretty good. He never said one bad word about Brittany, and I could tell he held back a lot. You could tell, man. It was really respectful, and I'm so glad they gave Brittany's perspective. The saddest part for me was when I've never seen this footage of her in the hospital. She looks pretty out of it. And you're trying to tell me that the whole thing was a hoax, a ruse, just to get money. So you're trying to tell me that every single person in that hospital, every doctor, every AMBO worker, every nurse, they're all a part of Team Con. That's why I'm starting to think the crazy Brittany fans are a little bit mental themselves. You cannot pay that many people off. Get a mother effing grip, people. You cannot. It's impossible. So anyway, it goes on and they're just talking about the life of growing up with Brittany as their mum. And I thought he was exceptionally respectful. Everyone was really happy that she got out of the conservatorship. And I'm so glad that he said that, the boys want their mum to know that they're really happy she's out of the conservatorship. And I thought that was a really good thing to say. He went on to say, let's listen.
Brittany's former husband, Kevin Federline, says he understands Brittany's anger, but he also wants her to know sons Sean Preston and Jaden were thrilled when their mother's conservatorship was overturned.
Both of them were happy for her, because it's not always about what's right. It's about, this is what mom wanted, mom got it.
I found that quite interesting. Sometimes you got to not do what's right, but do what that person wants. I mean, he seems to think that she should still be in the conservatorship. I think they know a lot more than what we don't. I've said that from day one. From my first video almost 2 years ago, I said there is a lot we don't know. And all the crazy Brittany fans that are just like, it's a hoax, she's completely fine, she's this, she's that. Well, no, she's not. I'm not saying she needs to be in a conservatorship. Don't come for me, you crazy people. But the thing is, something's up. There's no question in my mind that there is something up. And there has been something up since day one. And then you're like, oh, well, how did she do all these tours? How'd she go on X Factor? Well, she bombed at X Factor. They had to sack her because she'd just fall asleep all the time on all the heavy drugs that she was on. Oh, Team Con gave her those drugs. Okay. And then she went off the drugs, and look who's here now. Look who is here now. It is a woman that walks around her house filming herself modeling different clothes every day, and usually half naked with terrible makeup on. Brittany is a gorgeous looking woman. These posts that she puts on Instagram are revolting. She looks terrible. She looks like the back page, as I said, of the Live to Ride magazines where all the homegirls were, like gross. And the hair rats and everything. So maybe the drugs, quelled this mad woman that lived within. Did you ever think about that? Because when she was on the drugs and when she was locked up, as she says, she actually was performing very well. And she was moving through life. She was a judge on X Factor. She was on Friends, wasn't she? Or How I Met Your Mother, one of those shows. She was doing quite well. But as soon as the conservatorship ends, she stops taking all the meds. And look what we're left with. We're left with nude knee titney. That's it. We're left with someone that is off with the fairies, having a good old time, being naked, and British fucking Brittany! And Nicki Minaj, shut your mouth, girl. No one cares what you say. You're a stupid, twisted soul as well. One of the boys that didn't speak is Preston, and he was the one that Jamie Spears attacked, and they had to get a restraining order. And everyone's like, oh, you didn't talk about that, did you? It's like, oh, right. So people can't make mistakes. The dad lost his mind. Granddad lost his mind. They got a restraining order. And it's funny how Kevin keeps on saying everyone did what they thought at that time was the best. And I don't know if anyone watching this has been to counselling. A psychologist, a counsellor will always say, don't look back in retrospect and hate yourself and beat yourself up, because the thing is, you were doing the best you knew at that time. You weren't just sitting back going, who cares? Let her die. Let her be a drug addict. Let her fall off. Like, Dad didn't allow that to happen. And someone, we know who, Lou Taylor, Subway Rat, came along and said, let's do a conservatorship. And he thought it was a good idea. I've said it before. He's not a smart man, James Spears. He's from the country. He's a good old boy. And someone's offered this up to try and save your daughter. And he's thought, yeah, that's a good idea. Why is it easy for me to look at it like that logically? Why are all the Yes Queens psycho Brittany fans just like, no, it was the meanest thing that ever happened? I'll tell you what was mean was allowing it to go for that long. Even her son said that. It went on for too long. I agree. And as I always say, I don't think Brittany's dad was a very nice man. He had a hardcore drinking problem, which obviously made him very aggressive and controlling. We know that much. He controlled her way too much. But people who get power hungry, they keep using and abusing their power. That's why the conservatorship going on for that long was abusive. Initially, it stopped her in her tracks, in her spiraling out of control. And let me say, she was spiraling. It's not like this was a made up story. She actually was spiraling and she was losing it. I will stand strong in always saying I think she's got multiple personalities. And that's why they say she's got dementia, because I don't know if you guys know that the alters can't remember what the other alter did. So it is like a form of dementia. Did you ever think about that being on? But why is everyone always giving Kevin a hard time about money? Like, look at it on the other hand. Look at all the housewives of wherever, Beverly Hills, any of those shows. A lot of those women are divorced and they got big settlements and they get money every month from their ex-husbands to have this rich, luxurious lifestyle. Why doesn't anyone give them shit? I mean, you marry someone and have kids and they're wealthy and then you're going to bag them out because they get big amounts of money. Like, it just is what it is. It's the law. You marry someone that's poor, you probably don't get much money in a settlement. You get none of that. So I just don't understand people's mindset. Everyone just wants to hate Kevin because he's a love rat. We all know he's a love rat. So what? He married Brittany. He was in love. He's raised her sons quite well. I don't have a bad word to say about him. I don't even know the man. Brittany, I got a lot of bad words to say about her because she just keeps bagging her kids out publicly. Like, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And her kids seem far more mature than her, because they're like, 15 and 16? I feel she's that old in her mind. So now they feel as mature as her. Why should they accept that their mum wants to be a nudist? Just because she's a child of God? Just saying that because you're a child of God, you're allowed to be naked doesn't even make sense. And that's another reason why she's not a lucid thinker. Because that, in the logical world, there's nothing logical about that statement. At some point, I feel they need to let out Brittany's medical records so we actually know what's up. As I said yesterday, we all know Kanye's got bipolar and he's having a full mania attack as we speak. And, it's not like it's just out of nowhere. Adidas have tried to rip him off. But what I'm saying is, we don't look at it like, geez, wow, like we're used to, because we now know. But everyone thinks, all the Brittany being honors think, oh, no, Brittany's fine. No, she's not. She has multiple personalities. One of them is like a 17-year-old Brittany. One of them's British Brittany. One of them is a nudist. I reckon there's quite a few in there. And why does it happen? It comes from trauma. She has been traumatized. Child star, being in a conservatorship, having an abusive father, all of that. But you can't just look at everything with blinkers on. You've got to constantly look at the big picture. And Brittany's kids have been affected. And I'm tired of people just constantly saying, poor Brittany, because there's other people who are involved, innocent people, like children. And now she is still letting it rip on them. And today, if you go and look at her Instagram, she's just put up a post. I'll show you. And it just says, isn't 8 sideways infinity? Okay, that makes sense. Where's your rant? Does that mean the other Brittany, the angry one's not there at the moment? Because that one puts out huge, long rants of bitter and twisted words. But the one today just puts out that. Like, okay, doesn't make sense, does it? Think about it. There's 2 sides. And we've seen glimpses of 2 sides. We don't really know the whole story. But no. All the QAnoners, they know the whole story. Apparently. Like, give me a break, man. The one thing that actually did disturb me is when people are like, oh, so it's okay to see minors sitting in a towel or being in a pool. It's okay to see that. It's like, what the F are you talking about? Well, I just think that people that are weirded out by a bunch of teenagers swimming in a pool or sitting there with their dad with their towel around them and no t-shirts on, I think you're the sickos. Because to me, I didn't even look at it like that. And then when you say shit like that, then I look at it differently like, wow, you care about that? Maybe, where I'm from in Australia, people walk around with shirts off non-stop because it's bloody hot. And I just feel that's a very, very strange thing to bring up. Mum doesn't just walk around naked. She walks around naked like she's in a softcore prawn shoot. And it's disgusting and it's ugly. And she's actually a very beautiful woman. And she's just showing disgusting wigs and hair rats and dancing around dog poo in her lounge room. I thought the interview was good because at the moment, it's just one-sided. And it's a bunch of BAnoners. Yeah, there's other people involved. But look at Andy Sigbum. He is just a freaking BAnoner. I just realised after everything. And there's so many of them. Dudes, cinema. You can't give up, man, because there's a lot of twisted sisters out there. You feel me? You dig?
It's like almost as if she has to post something on Instagram to get attention. This has gone on for years and years and years, and there's a high chance that this is never going to really stop.
But I hear you guys all saying, what's Sammy Boy been up to? Well, you know what he's been up to? He's been in the gym, once again, ignoring me, only doing upper body work. He refuses to do leg work because he wants to end up in a wheelchair. He will not accept he's got a calf wasting disease. Do you see he just put up these stories, 4 stories, and it's just the same thing over and over. Sam, we know your upper body's freaking huge, but come on, man, do some lower leg work. You know you want to. Hey, but side note, I think he's at Westlake. That gym is very similar to the gym at Westlake. Check it out, guys. Look, when you see the outside, it looks really similar. I'm going to put a video up right now showing you him outside the gym at Westlake. Here he is inside the gym. And why isn't he at Asghari headquarters? Hey, because you know why? Brittany lives in Westlake. And after that interview, he's had to go over and work it out. He never wears his wedding ring, by the way. He just doesn't want people to know he's married. I don't know. Why wouldn't you wear your wedding ring? That's a real strange one to me. Someone else pointed out on one of the Insta pages, I think it was who runs Brittany's Insta, that Sam's previous dog was called Portia. Dun, dun, dun! And Portia died. Now, he got a new puppy and called it Portia? Wow. That's big. Because you know why? Maybe it's for Brittany. Because she can't remember the names, like, oh, no, this is the new Portia. I don't know. Or maybe he's just like the Simpsons. Because didn't they call Santa's little helper their little whippet dog? Didn't they name every new dog Santa's little helper? I think they did. But that is freaking weird, man. I don't know. I could never call the same pet the same name. But then I guess it's not a pet. It's a guard dog. Sawyer is her pet. Portia is the guard dog. I can see that. But is that what they do with guard dogs? They just keep calling them all the same names? I don't know, man. That was a real weird one for me, but that was just a little side note of Sammy Boy's intellect. I want him to write more on his stories. I love his spelling mistakes. They make me laugh. They're great. You go, Sammy Boy. You've noticed that he's not writing her Insta posts anymore? Because damn, they were bad. They were gobbledygook. And now someone else is writing them, whether it's Brittany or someone in the team. I'm not too sure. There is so many questions that we don't have answers for. And that's exactly why I don't like the B and honors, because they are 100% right on every theory they have. And I think once you think you're 100% right, that's where you've failed. Do you know that? You can have a suspicion, but you can't think you're 100% right because the facts truly aren't out there. You're just guessing, like I am guessing she lives at Westlake. I don't know 100%. I feel she is, and I feel she is because of the photos that line up. Same hotel room when she was in Westlake. Go and look at Westlake's website. Same curtains, same everything. You got to find the facts to line up with your theories, and I'm not saying that the BN honors don't, but some of their theories are very, very far-fetched, you know? Like, come on, guys, bring it in. Take your freaking blinkers off and start seeing everything rather than holding on to the hate of Federline from freaking 20 years ago for being a love rat. It exacerbates me.
Now, if instead of me, Brittany was sitting here, what would you tell her?
I don't know. It's really, like one of the toughest questions, you know. I try to think about that question because there's so many mixed emotion in there, you know. The father in me, the ex-husband, you know, it's hard to like tie it all together because I would want to apologize and then give advice and then ask if there's any way I can help.
See you tomorrow. I love you guys. I love every one of you. And remember, let the good vibes in and let them bad vibes out. You feel me? You dig? Cheers, ballers.